I do want to go into an article by the Freelance News. I thought it was a great article. I definitely want to go over that before we go over the big stuff. Before we do the heavy lifting, let's go through the Freelance News. But if you're tuning in now, if you can just do me a favor in the chat and just put the city and state that you're watching from, that would be greatly appreciated. So what I'll do now is I'm going to pull up the Freelance News article by JB Nicholas. The Freelance, Letitia James doxes prison guards as strike turns nasty. Escalating crisis in New York prisons. We have this meme here. I'm going to get you and your co-workers too. Unleash the memes. Governor Kathy Hochul depicted as the Wicked Witch in memes circulated on social media by New York striking prison guards. New York has started doxing correction officers allegedly taking part in a Wildcat strike against the state prison system. 25 guards had their home addresses published on the internet by State Attorney General Letitia James on Wednesday, the 10th day of a strike that started at the Collins and Elmira correctional facilities on February 17th. Now we know that this Wildcat strike has almost hit every single prison in New York State. I believe there might be three exceptions to that, three prisons who are not officially participating. Back to the article. The Freelance broke the story exclusively. By last Wednesday night, guards at all but two of New York's 42 prisons were on strike. I stand corrected, it's two. Last Thursday, Governor Hochul deployed the National Guard to replace strikers. Some were sleeping in cells. Quote, we have more than 6,500 National Guard members on duty for this mission that are actively being deployed to correctional facilities. Matt Januszynski, Governor Kathy Hochul's upstate press secretary, told the Freelance on Wednesday. 90% or about 9 out of 10 correction workers and sergeants are illegally on strike, Jasinski added. Wow, I didn't realize the number was this large. So 90%, 9 out of 10 correctional officers and sergeants are illegally on strike. I mean, I can't imagine the impact it's having on the facility itself, and the impact it's having on inmates. Let's continue with the article. Strikes by all public employees are illegal under New York's Taylor law. Under the Taylor law, striking guards face automatic loss of 2 days' pay for every day on strike. Now, whether these correctional officers that are striking are going to face this consequence, I would bet my pinky toe that they won't face these consequences. I could be wrong. The strikes started the same week. 6 New York State correction officers were charged with murder for beating and choking Robert Brooks to death at the Marcy Correctional Facility on December 9th. Three more, um, three more were charged with manslaughter. 2 were charged with attempting to cover it up. 3 more pled guilty to unspecified charges and are cooperating with investigators. With prosecutors. A list of demands was released by the guards who started the strike at Collins. Now, there's one thing I want to mention that, there was a video I did, believe it was 2 days ago, in reference to correctional officers who were having a quote unquote info session. I believe it was Riverview Correctional Facility. And they stated they do not want to wear body cam. So I thought that was pretty fascinating that they don't want to wear body cams. And let's see if that's mentioned in this article at all. A list of demands was released by the guards who started the strike at Collins. First is repeal of the Halt Act, which restricts prison officials' power to impose long-term solitary confinement as discipline. According to the striking guards, without the ability to impose long-term solitary confinement, inmates face no meaningful punishment for misconduct. This has caused assaults on guards and other prisoners to increase, they say. So do me a favor, if you believe that the Halt Act has caused more violence in New York State correctional facilities, put that in the chat. If you feel that it hasn't caused more violence, put that in the chat as well. I want to get your feedback on this. The agency that manages the prison system is called the Department of Corrections and Community Supervision, or DOCS. DOCS and Governor Kathy Hochul appeared to grant the guards core demands last Friday, but they didn't trust her, so the strike continued. So I'm going to bring myself up real quick. So I found this very interesting. And for me, this seems very disingenuous on the part of the correction officers who were striking. Kathy Hochul went ahead and gave in to the core demands that you were asking for, and in turn, you continue to strike. Um, in essence, you're continuing to put people in harm's way, including the correctional officers that have stayed behind to do their jobs. A mediator, back to the article, a mediator has been facilitating negotiations between the two sides since Monday. So far, without, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't bring it up. Here we go. A mediator has been facilitating negotiations between the two sides since Monday, so far without a breakthrough. And this is an image here. We see striking New York prison guards from the Governor Correctional Facility protesting beside the area's main road on February 25th. Photo credit JB Nicholas. On Tuesday, Governor Hochul delivered a stern message to the striking guards. This must end immediately, she said. The illegal actions being taken by a number of individuals is putting the entire state at risk. If you are striking, she added, you are AWOL. You no longer secure the right to haven health benefits from the state. That goes away. Finally, she added, strikers should think of the legal fees they might face because this is not sanctioned by the union. They will not pay for this. While Governor Hochul was speaking, the angry wives of striking guards were visiting the offices of Senator Julia Salazar, who they hold responsible for the Halt Act. While video of the visit has not yet been made public, whatever happened prompted Senator Salazar to issue a statement on X, and this is her statement. To the wives of correction officers who decided to come to the Capitol today, screaming at my staff and refusing to leave our office to allow scheduled meetings with other advocates to resume. Halt is the law. Long-term solitary confinement is torture, and we don't want it in New York. So that was the official statement on X from Julia Salazar responding to the wives of the correction officers. Meanwhile, in Buffalo, State Attorney General Letitia James sued the union and 333 named guards for striking illegally under the Taylor Law. State Supreme Court Justice Dennis E. Ward granted James' request for a temporary restraining order and directed the guards to return to work on February 19th. The order had zero effect. So we see an order coming out from Governor Hochul, and the correctional officers are continuing to illegally strike here. I'm going to pull up a comment. We have BJ Webb's. Incarcerated individuals I have spoken to agree the HALT Act does allow the gang members mostly to just do what they want because there really isn't much punishment being there. Much punishment being there is not any solitary confinement, much at all. So that's an interesting comment. I am not, to be honest with you, I'm not too versed on HALT. I'm not too versed on the effects of solitary confinement on individuals. What I will say is that in a previous stream, I had a YouTuber by the name of Conservative Felon who stated that we need solitary confinement for longer periods of time, because you will have people who will act out and who will not behave unless they have a longer than 2 weeks. I'm paraphrasing, so that's a good point, BJ Webbs. Good point. Let's go back to the article. Before the court order can be enforced, it has to be served on the defendants. An assistant attorney general in James' office served 25 guards and filed an affirmation in the court record, so swearing on Wednesday. In this document that contains the names and addresses of 25 correctional officers, former state attorney general Dennis Vaco is defending the guards against James' lawsuit. He did not immediately respond to an emailed request for comment. While not defending the doxing, Dox spokesperson Thomas Maley told the Freelance that the longer this illegal strike continues, the greater the risk becomes to the stability of these facilities and for the people inside them. It is imperative, Maley added, that this unlawful job action come to an end without further delay. And that's the end of the article. If you found value in this video, please like the video, share the video, and if you feel that I've earned it, please subscribe to the channel. And if you have already, encourage someone else to subscribe. Again, when I started the live stream, I wanted to thank everyone for showing me their support, for watching my videos, for subscribing. I've grown to about 600 and something subscribers. So I want to thank everyone for that. Let's keep pushing the news about Robert Brooks, about the injustices in the criminal justice system, specifically these correctional facilities that seem to be just a culture of chaos and a culture of corruption. We have to stop these abuses. So thank you for watching. Take care, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.